presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Weda.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our show today. And we do have a special guest today. I want to thank E360 TV for as our broadcaster. And Jim always likes me to thank the 6-minute webinar, which has been a long time supporter of this show. And this show today is Ideas Worth Knowing. We have a very special guest today, and I'm going to let our guest basically tell more about his business, but I do want to make a brief introduction before we get rolling, because there's some pretty impressive stuff here. What under the if you knew me well, a number of years ago, I was a mortgage broker, and I worked in private lending, helping people who were having issues getting the funds that they needed. Often they were, elderly people who needed just to have the roof fixed on their house, but they couldn't just go to a bank and get the money. And a lot of you work in a business or know a business that has higher dollar purchasing decisions. Maybe it's in the automotive space or in the manufacturing space, and you need equipment. Maybe it's in the medical space. My goodness, I was looking the other day at just the price to get the permanent dentures that they sell now. You're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in some cases. So being able to make the decision is not usually a financial one, because people, if they feel it's the right thing to do, they will make that decision. The challenge is when they've made the decision that this is what they want, that what you have is what they want, and they want to have it with you. Sometimes the challenge is in balancing those dollars. So our guest today is Bob Lovinger. Oh, and I'm also supposed to say thanks to E360 TV, our broadcast company, and thanks to the 6-minute webinar for their long time support of this show. Bob Lovinger is the president and founder of Flexxbuy, and I'll post the marquee on that here in just a bit. And he's worked as a consultant and an entrepreneur in the financial services industry for over 25 years. And in 2014, made the decision to start a business that would, as he would say, and I'm going to let him explain this more, democratize customer financing for all types of businesses that have high dollar products, high ticket items that you sell. This is a vision, and you guys know me enough to know that when I talk about vision, I'm looking at that 40,000-foot view. But Bob actually has put legs to this and created a program that expands the opportunities for customer financing for all types of businesses. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring Bob into the studio uh, from the green room. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Emerson, nice to meet you. Nice to be on your show.
It is great to have you here today. I'm going to let you talk about that the phrase democratizing the finance side of the business for small businesses.
Sure. And actually it started a little bit prior to that. And I've been in, as you mentioned, I've been in financing. I mean, I was an electrical engineer coming out of college and did that for 2.5 years. And
Yeah, I
after
didn't even
that,
mention that part of it. Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, well, it's very, 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 as you can tell by the color of my hair, it's a long history, so it was a while back, but then I got into, into the consumer side, the individual side of financing,
Right.
shortly after that. And I was in there for many years. And after the financial crash of 2008, around 2010, as people started and businesses started coming out of that financial crash, somebody introduced me to this concept of customer financing, and I thought, that was interesting. I mean, I knew that you can go into a store and apply for the store credit card, or some businesses,
Right.
in healthcare had financing available, and furniture stores and mattress stores, but you know and I didn't know much about it, past that. And I did, the more research I did on, I realized that, 95, maybe even more percent of businesses out there don't have access to the same thing these big box stores have, or these,
Right.
healthcare, or these certain verticals have. And, people coming out of that financial crash, people needed it more than ever. I mean, people didn't have any confidence in their financial situation. If they did have some money, they didn't know how long they were going to be able to keep it. Their credit cards were credit limits were knocked down to what the balances were. So people didn't have a lot of spending power. And I saw a big opportunity to say, businesses need this, because unless they can offer some kind of creative way for people to buy, they were going to continue to struggle coming out of the crash. So I went on a journey starting in 2010 to start selling other products. And, they were all pretty bad products, but they were the only thing around for the general population of businesses out there. And around 2014 is when it was when I founded FlexXbuy, and with the idea of, I'm going to build something really good and usable that just about any business, I mean, and really any business that I choose to work with, can utilize to offer financing to their customers. And, even since 2014, we've been through a few different, financial challenges in this country, COVID being one of them, and the most recent challenges that we're facing now, where interest rates have been going up, and
Right.
the American dollar is being stretched out as much as possible, and it's held up. I mean, businesses continue to need some kind of way of offering a creative financing solution for their customers.
Yeah, often it's people make, and I've shared this with our viewers over the last couple of years, but people make their decisions based on what they feel is the right thing to do. So very often they may find somebody who has exactly what they need, but they feel it's the right thing to do. It's the decision they want to make. That doesn't eliminate that financial part of it. Um, so maybe you can talk a little bit more about customer financing, because goodness, we tend to pay off our credit cards pretty much every month, but I'm I stay on top of what they're charging, and my goodness, some of these credit cards are charging 30% and more uh, for people who don't pay them off every month. So when a small business especially has to make those decisions, a lot of small businesses are running based on their cash flow, running based on what kind of credit they can get, and having options. And you don't just give one or two options. You have
No,
like 20,
yeah,
25, don't you?
more than that. I mean,
More than that. Oh, wow.
we're actually working now with over 50 lenders. So,
Wow.
when a business offers our platform, and it's all technology, we're not the lender, we provide the technology.
Right.
An applicant puts in the application, and within a matter of seconds, and it's not going to be sent to 50 lenders, but it may be based on algorithms and filters, but it may be sent to 8, 10 lenders, and out will come out if they're qualified, out will come out the best offers possible. And the nice thing about our platform is it's all soft credit pulls, so there's no risk to a consumer to have to run an application. They could just kick the tires to see, all right, is this offer going to be better than what I have in my pocket to spend with? And if they decide it's not, there's no harm, no foul. But I just want to make it clear, our client is the business. We're
Right.
here to give the business as many tools as possible to make a sale. And those of us that are old enough to remember, credit cards used to be a financing tool. Now when you go to a restaurant or you go someplace, it's assumed that every business you go into take a credit card. But back in 1980 and 1981, when credit cards really started nationalizing, that wasn't always the case. And businesses would put that that MasterCard Visa sticker, American Express sticker on their window to let people know that
Right.
if they have a credit card in their pocket, they can go and use it in their place of business. The same has to be true today when it comes to customer financing, and we focus mostly in high ticket services and products. And high ticket is considered anything over $1,000, and we go up to $100,000 of financing. But
I'm glad you clarified that, because that was one of my questions. I don't
yeah,
want any of our viewers to think, oh, we don't have high ticket items,
yeah,
thinking 10, 20, 30, $40,000 for dental
no,
work or for an automotive purchase or something like that.
yeah, without getting too deep, into the weeds. And I recently did this research because I need to have my finger at the pulse, at all times. I don't want to bore you too much with statistics, but there's been recent surveys done where 65% of working Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck, and even 51% of Americans earning more than $100,000 claim that they run out of money before the end of the month. But here's the most scary statistic I found of all recently, that during the pandemic, when people really didn't have a lot of places to spend their money, and there was some government benefits going out with
Right.
regarding the pandemic, Americans had accumulated as a total net $2.1 trillion in savings, and that was only 2 years ago. That net savings now in this country is now zero. It's all gone.
Wow, wow, wow.
As a net, everybody has spent any money they had. I mean, not everybody, but some people are in debt, and that goes negative, and some people have some money in the bank. And then the other thing is, U.S. credit card debt is now at $1 trillion plus. So for all businesses have to understand this, because this is their marketplace, right? So they have to understand that people are tight, and I'll tell you how most businesses use customer financing, and it's wrong. So most businesses in the service business, and we have a lot of clients. We have thousands and thousands of clients, and thousands of them are in the service business. They either do coaching or they do home improvement. A lot of intangible type of things. Attorneys. We have a lot of attorneys, and most of them will use customer financing as a last resort. So they're gonna, they'll go through their whole sales pitch, and at the end, if the person has trouble coming up with the money, or hemming and hawing over the money, then they'll introduce, we have a FlexXbuy platform you could apply for financing with, and you know what, that works okay. The real way businesses should be using financing, and the smart ones is they lead with it. People will disqualify themselves from even getting excited about a high ticket product if they don't think there's a path for them to buy. So if
Right.
somebody is walking around with no money in the bank and limited credit cards, and if they're not going to allow themselves to get excited, you could be offering the shiniest product service out there, putting out in front of them, but if they can't get excited about it, they're not going to they're not going to get into your sales funnel and have the conversations you need to make them a customer or a client. So the way we
Well,
teach
and some
our
businesses have
yeah,
gotten that for years. Like I'm thinking the automotive business, for example, where they
absolutely.
advertise for as little as X number of dollars down and $4.95 a month, you can have this new whatever.
I mean,
So
could you
that's
imagine if
what
they
you're
didn't?
talking about, right? In terms of
Ex-
leading with the financing.
Exactly. I mean, could you imagine if the auto industry didn't have financing or didn't let people know that they had
Oh
financing?
my gosh.
How many people are walking around with a spare $30,000 in their back pocket or in the bank
30,
or
30.
whatever it
Oh
is?
my gosh. There's a Ford dealer about a mile or two from my house that is proudly promoting that used trucks that are $70,000 and $80,000.
Yeah, and and the thing is, if you're one of the people out there that don't have money in the bank and have limited spending power,
Right.
$1,000 might as well be $30,000, and
Yeah.
$5,000 might as well be $1,000,000 because
Yes.
to those people, they don't think that they have the ability to buy a high ticket. So, we teach our businesses, put it out there. If you're on social media, make that part of your branding. Make it, financing available. Make people know that it doesn't have to be, and you don't have to mention a price. You don't have to do what the car industry does and say, buy this car for $359 a month or lease it for X. You could just let people know financing is available, easy financing. We even recommend guaranteed financing, and we have a product and a solution that we can help businesses offer guaranteed financing. The more plausible you make the sale for the consumer from their perception, the bigger your lead net is going to be. So, if you want a lot of opportunities to sell, you have to make it very, very plausible that somebody can buy.
Well, and this takes one huge obstacle out of the way because people make the decision based on what they feel is the right thing to do. But the logical side of our brain has to agree and support it and say, oh, yeah, you can do this and you can fit this in and you can manage that, instead of saying, hey, hold on a minute. Hold on. You don't have 30, 40, $50,000 or two or three or $4,000 or whatever it is. What are you going to do? How are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to do this? So having that little connection where the person feels it's the right decision and you've got this as an option to make it an easy decision, that's power.
It gets the conversation going, because what we tell our clients is, let's say you have somebody that applies for financing and they get declined, and for some reason you can't put the deal together. You're still no worse off than you were, if you never had financing in the first place. And then you still may have other paths. So if you got someone excited enough about your product or service, maybe they have a relative they can borrow from. Maybe there's other ways that they can get there. But if you can't get them into your sales funnel to have to start having these conversations to get them excited about what you're offering them, you'll never get to that, to that close. And it's most businesses need it. And we have a lot of coaching and self-improvement clients, out there who try to teach people how to make more money or, make extra money or change careers or whatever it is. And those are very attractive in today's economy because as the statistics indicate that I mentioned, a lot of people need more money. They think that's the path, but you still got to help them structure a sale, because if they don't have the money, it's your responsibility as the business to go out there and structure a sale. And I'll tell you what, and it's not necessarily the thing in coaching or something intangible like that, but if you're a business, a brick and mortar business or a neighborhood business, let's say you're a home improvement business, if somebody needs a new roof or needs new siding and they don't have the money, they're going to start doing their research to find out which one of the businesses in their neighborhood offer financing, because that's going to
Right.
be their path. Why speak to a company that doesn't offer financing if you definitely need financing? Same thing with healthcare, right? If you need something
Yes.
that is not covered by your insurance and you want to get this done, you're going to go out there and start go online and start Googling and finding a company, a medical practitioner that offers financing, because that's the only way you're going to get there.
And people do this for a wide variety of reasons. I shared in the beginning how at one point I was a mortgage broker and I specialized in doing mortgages that were private money mortgages. And I had a lot of people who were in their 70s and 80s, and they couldn't get a mortgage, or second mortgage or whatever. They couldn't get it because of their age, which that does happen.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of reasons. And I years and years ago, I was in the automotive business. I did everything there was in it, from wholesaling and finance and new car and used car. But I remember having this customer one night. He was in his 80s, and he had a really, really nice retirement that he was, okay, these numbers are going to blow some people's minds because we're not at these numbers yet. But he was making, I believe, 9.5% on his retirement. And our financing, I think, was like 13%. And he had the money. It was going to be a cash deal all the way. At the end of it, after a couple of hours with the guy, he leans back, he goes, okay, I think we have a deal. Let me know your rate. And I said, what do you mean my rate? Our rate's 13%. You're making 9.5%. You'd be paying more. He said, son, let me show you something. That was the night I learned about the time value of money. And he showed me why financing it made more sense to him, and that at the end of the term, he actually made money by financing that vehicle. So people do it for a lot of different reasons. And if you own a small business, recognize that people are looking at all sorts of different factors in deciding what their budget and their time frame and their cash flow and everything else will allow them. And if you have this as an option, I really believe, Bob, that I believe a lot of small businesses will be amazed when they see the number of people who go, really? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean,
and I know you see this every day.
Yeah, and the number one reason, and I've been there, you've probably been there, for financing, is security, right? You don't necessarily want to drain the money in that you have in the bank. So just because it's there and it may not make sense, you're paying more money to borrow than you're getting from the money in the bank. Having that money in the bank is kind of a security blanket for a lot of people.
It's a cushion.
So yeah. So there's a lot of reasons that people want to do financing. And people think, one of the questions is, well, all my customers have good credit, they don't need financing. Well, those are the people that want financing because they can finance. So,
and they understand it.
So we have, our platform has lenders that will finance people with excellent credit and give them low single-digit interest rates. And then we have lenders that their appetite is, people with not so great credit because they could charge more. And, we get borrowers across the whole spectrum. So, I would challenge someone to name a business type that we haven't serviced, and I would challenge someone to name a credit type that we haven't seen. We've seen it, we've seen everything, but there's every business needs it, whether they know it or not. So the ones that there's a lot of businesses that think they're doing okay and they don't need to add, and there's that mindset that was a big surprise to me when I first got into this business. One of the early products I was getting behind was more of a brick and mortar type of product. And I literally went in my car because I wanted to learn as much about the industry as I possibly can. So I wanted to learn about it. So I got in my car and started going from business to business on main streets down here in Florida. And I was new to Florida. So, I didn't know, the people, I didn't, as much. And I can't tell you how many times I got it, my pitch would be, well, this is going to help you make more sales, because you're going to bring more people, in, blah, 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 blah. And I can't tell you how many people say, more sales. I don't want to work any harder. I want to stop working at 3 and go to the beach, and so, you have to know your customers. Not everybody wants more sales, but for the 99% of the businesses out there that really want to grow and really want more sales and really want to capture more of an audience, because that's what they're in the business for, financing will get them there. To what extent, it depends on how they utilize it. I mean, we have clients that, they'll finance one customer every 3 or 4 months. We have a client that does about $1.5 million in financing every month. So, we have everything, in between. And the ones that do the highest volume of financing are the ones that lead with the financing, because they understand human nature. They understand that, whether they put it out there, whether, the elephant in the room is always money, and you've got to put it out there. If you don't put it out there, you could, closing your eyes to it is not going to make it go away.
Wow. And folks, I think Bob has given away a little bit about his background there, and I think many of our viewers might have recognized that South Florida accent that you
have. Once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker.
I know, man. But hey, you go to South Florida, and it's you're going to either have that or you're going to have Cuban Spanish.
Well, that's why
the
joke. The joke is that Tallahassee is more south than South Florida is, because
that's true.
You got true Southerners up there. You got down here it's all New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
It really is funny, but that is how Florida is designed demographically.
Yeah.
But he kind of touched on it a little bit. Tell our viewers maybe a little bit about 4 or 5 different types of businesses that have taken the options that you're talking about and used them effectively to own a bigger share of their market, and to be able, actually, it makes your business easier to run when you have these options to remove the obstacles that might be keeping good clients from being able to do business with. Tell a little more about that, Bob.
Well, let me start with by saying this. There's 2 types of businesses out there. One is the business that somebody is looking for. Somebody is looking for what you're selling. So if you're a home improvement business, if you're an attorney, if you're a health practitioner, somebody's looking for your business, and they're going to contact you, and there may even be some shopping involved. People are price sensitive.
Sure.
The other side of the spectrum is business, and this is probably a larger category for us, is businesses that are just in the proximity. There's no comparing. What they do is unique, and what I'm referring to is coaches. We have a lot of people that are in the coaching space, or more in the intangible space. It may not be coaching. It may be a vocational school. It may be people who help people write books. So whatever the circumstances may be, and those people are not shopping. They're just, if you come across them, they're not going to go out there and say, let me find somebody else that does this, because no 2 businesses do it exactly
right.
the same. For those businesses, it's about making your case, making the sale. So we have a lot of, like I mentioned, coaches that, the one that I mentioned that does over $1 million a month, every month, $1.5 million. We have other businesses in that line of work, like we have timeshare cancellation businesses that help people get out of timeshares. We have a lot of health practitioners.
Which most of our viewers, you may not know, they charge you money to get out of timeshares.
They charge you money to get out of timeshares.
Yeah.
It's
a huge business with serving a huge need.
Yeah, we have a lot of businesses that help people get out of the tax money that they owe. They owe a lot of money, so there's tax tax negotiators. We have a lot of we have home improvement businesses of all kinds. We have a lot of health practitioners that are off the beaten path. They're not the neighborhood general practitioner. Their specialty may be men's health, or there's practice, or chiropractic or something like that. So, there's a lot of different use cases for our platform, and we have different solutions for different businesses. So, we also have a lot of retail businesses. The retail businesses are not going to get the same platform that the coach is going to get. We'll have a different set of lenders in there for them. But it's the only industries that we don't do are anything illegal, because we don't get involved in that. We won't get involved in firearms only because, who wants the headaches? And I won't do anything having to do with puppy mills or anything that harms animals or potentially could harm animals. So other than that, we'll do just about every business, and I'm pretty sure we have just about every business. We have a lot of lawyers. Lawyers are a big one, especially a lot of small-time criminal attorneys that do DUIs, DWIs, that type of thing, because those are the unexpected expenses that come your way. Your 18-year-old son gets pulled over for DUI unexpectedly, and you're going to go see a lawyer, and that $10,000 bill may not be something you have in the bank. So there's a lot of different use cases.
Well, the marketer in me has to ask, how are the people finding you? How much is your marketing reaching them and they're discovering you? And what channels are you using in that in order to find more businesses that that are saying, hey, that's what I need right there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this a while. 2014, next May will be 10 years in
10
business
years.
for us.
Yeah.
So we're lucky enough that we have a pretty good presence on Google. So when a business is searching for some kind of customer financing, they'll find us usually among the top. We do a lot on social media. People could find us on Facebook. We advertise on Facebook to let people know. Referrals are big. The one thing, people in business know other people, in business, and they'll go to their chamber groups or whatever else, and they'll mention us, and so we get a lot of referrals. We also have a lot of sales partners. We have a lot of people that are in the industry, some industry that does business to business, and they're out there speaking to businesses all the time. So they partnered with us to send us referrals and help businesses that way. But it's always a challenge, but fortunately, there's not a ton of business competition out there for us. Our competition is banks. There's some large finance companies. There's a number of platforms like us. But, the thing that I liked about our business model when I went out, I said, I'm going to go after almost all the other businesses out there in this sector are going after the same, 5% of businesses. They all want the retail businesses. They all want the healthcare professionals. They all want the big home improvement companies. And the reason is that those businesses knew how to use financing already, and there was a marketplace. I decided, I don't want to get into the muckety muck. I'm going to go for the other 95% of businesses out there. So there's not a lot of businesses that do exactly what we do. And our secret sauce is the support. We got a pretty big support staff here that supports the application from beginning to end. We work with the business.
Today. That is so huge.
Yeah, and a lot of people, we're a technology business, but a lot of people out there that are using our, on the consumer side, even on the business side, are not technology savvy. They're not tech savvy, so they need help. It's just everything is. We don't even use paper. At all. Everything is done online. I mean, it's the funny thing is I'm looking at my desk here and I have a printer in the corner. It's not even plugged in. It's a prop. So if somebody walks in, they see a printer. I haven't printed anything out in 5 years, So, we're a paperless, but we do offer a support staff, and also even on the business side,
I need to get you to talk to my wife. She wants everything on notes and printed.
My wife too. My wife's a travel agent, and she does that too. But and even on the client support staff, the merchants, they need help too. We try, because we get on our soapbox and we talk about the proper utilization of our, and they're welcome to use it any way they want, but we try to help them to get the most out of it and hold their hand and develop strategies of how to utilize it. And I think that's our secret sauce. And the other thing is we're very easy, for somebody to sign up with us. we've gone through many iterations. We used to charge a monthly subscription fee and all kinds of things. Now we only charge a one-time setup fee, a $2.99 setup fee to get set up. They get a unique splash page on our website, that they can send their customers to, a unique URL for their loan applications. They get the portal with everything in it, all the statistics, all their loans. They can track it. They get the full support. We charge a $2.99 one-time fee. That's for life. So that's the only fee that they ever have to pay. And I think we're running a special for your, for any, for your listening audience. So I think your listening audience will be able to get it for $1.99. I think for the next 24 hours or so, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'll have to post that as well. Go ahead. Continue.
I think you did. I think that's the link that's down there. I think that link.
Did I put that link in there? Oh, I thought I just put in the. Okay, nope. I thought I put in the link to connect with you directly. That's great. Continue.
That's the link. So that's what it is. So once they get set up with us, we can get. If somebody's listening now and you want financing, you want different financing, maybe you've lined yourself up with a bank and looking at, one lender's not enough because that lender could be.
Here we go.
That lender could be fickle. That lender could be fickle.
There's the link.
There you go. Okay, so they and if they want and if you want 30 plus lenders, 40 plus lenders, it's really an easy entry to us, and we could have you set up in 24 to 48 business hours. So we want to make it easy. That was our secret. So I want to get out there to offer this to as many businesses as possible. I'm a former engineer, so I try to make usability as easy as possible. I'm a big user experience person. So I think most people find us very easy to utilize.
Well, let me ask you, if a business, you're saying to lead with it, and I like that idea, because now it's in the back of the prospect's mind from the beginning. But let's say that somebody has a major purchase. I don't know. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about the different types of businesses that you've worked with. But let's say I see a lot of ads, for example, of permanent dentures. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing right now. There are 4 or 5 major national companies that are just in that space. But sure. When the person is in the discussion, okay, when their customer is in the discussion, whatever it is, a car, a new piece of equipment for their manufacturing facility, some major purchase at a retail store, walk us through a little bit of the process that your customer, the business, would be going through with their customer, their prospect, and what kind of time period that usually takes, and what's involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, the reason to throw financing out there in your marketing, whether it's on, it could be social media, it can be print advertising, it could be radio, if somebody's still doing that. It can be if you have a truck. Just a joke.
Yes, there are people who still do it.
I understand.
We know every time.
I know where I am.
Right?
I know where I am. That was just a joke. If you have a truck, if you're a home improvement company, if you have a truck, you could put it on there. You want to put the customer financing out there, not because it's going to sell for you, but it's going to not disqualify you. Because for those people that know they don't have the money, or know that money is going to be a struggle, or just want an alternative, it's not going to disqualify you. So it's going to draw those people in that definitely will look for the financing. From there, we don't try to change. A lot of businesses have all different sales cycles of what they go through. Everybody does it differently. There's no way we could become an expert on every business type's sales cycle. But what we try to say is, you bring it out there, you mention it out there early, and bring it out when it comes time to, when the money part of your close takes place. So, use the financing to bring someone in, go through your normal sales pitching, to get people excited, to sell to sell all the benefits or features that you may have. And then when it comes down to the close, and hopefully you've gotten them excited enough at that point to want to buy, that's when you have to explore the different ways that people can pay. Some people may not, I mean, most people probably don't need the financing. They're going in, they know how they want to pay, but maybe there's 25, 30% of people out there that do want the financing. Make it available to them. And our platform is really, depending on the kind of business it is, but, mentioning the denture place, if we were in that kind of business, there's probably a point of sale type of sale thing where somebody could apply for financing, get the firm approval right there and then the dentist or whoever I'm drawing a blank as to who the specialist is that does that kind of stuff can do their work.
Yeah, the root canal guy or the
Yeah,
dental
right.
surgeon or
Right. So
the
they
cosmetic
can do
surgery or whoever.
right. So then they can do their work knowing that they're going to get the money, directly from the lender. So, in that type of business, it's very easy. Apply for the loan. If you get approved, everything is done online. You sign, seal, deliver, produce do the work, and then the practitioner gets paid. So, and there's other models. So depending on the kind of business it is, some of our lenders in our core platform, the money goes to the consumer who then has to pay the business. So there's two different type of business financing, one where the money goes to the consumer who then pays the business, and the other is where the money goes directly to the businesses. And there's pros and cons to each of them. And for some business models, only one may be available and the other one won't. And some business models, only one makes sense and the other one doesn't. So, we use some expertise in how we set up these businesses with the right type of financing for their specific business model.
Now, I noticed on your site you have a relatively low, what's known in the business as discount rate. When a business chooses to offer this, and I agree with you 100%, it should be an upfront kind of an offer that people are understanding from the very beginning that they have this option to finance it. For the business, in structuring this, what type of discount are they needing to look at in order to offer this to their customers?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I forgot to mention the discount. So in customer financing, just like in credit cards, when a business takes credit cards, there's what's called a discount. So
right.
When you walk into a store and you're purchasing the new TV, the business isn't going to get the whole price of the TV. They're going to get the price of the TV less 3%, let's say, because that's what the credit card processing company gets.
Or more if it's American Express.
Exactly right. So that's what they get. The same thing is true in financing, but there's a very broad range of the discounts. I mean, there's some programs out there that are 0% discount, very few. Our core platform, the discount rate's 3.9%. But we have some lenders that are in some high risk industries. And if those businesses choose to take on those, and there's reasons they do, if they choose to take on those type of lenders, the discounts can be 10, 12, 15% as well. And, the tolerance of the discount is really up to the business, right? So if you're selling something intangible, if you're a coaching business, let's say, you could probably tolerate a lot bigger discount as long as the financing gets the job done for you, because it's intangible. So, 85% of something is better than 0% of something. So, it depends on the business. Also, there's ways to pass off some of the costs of the financing onto your customer. And the credit card industry does that now too with surcharging. So you'll notice that there's more and more businesses out there that accept credit cards, and the consumer will pay the 3% discount, so the business doesn't have to pay it. That would be built into the transaction. And there's legal logistical ways to do that in financing as well. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but the car industry is very good.
We've all seen it. And years ago you didn't see it as much, but you go to a gas station and you get 5% off if you pay cash.
Right. And
it's the same thing. They're balancing that out.
Right. And the car industry has been doing that masterfully for many, many
Sure.
years. You'll notice cars where they'll say, instant $5,000 rebate or $3,000 rebate or $1,000 rebate. What they're really doing is they're rewarding people who don't need certain kind of financing. So you're not going to get necessarily the best financing and the rebate. If you take the financing, you're not getting the rebate. But if you come in there and pay with cash, you'll get the rebate. So there's
Right.
ways of structuring a sale, which we could help our clients do to help them absorb it. But frankly, most of them just pay it because it still helps them get to the finish line. And most businesses have enough of a profit margin that they're able to absorb it. Some businesses don't. Like for instance, in the HVAC arena, there's very, very small. You got a very expensive product, but the
Right.
majority of that money goes to the manufacturer to buy the product. So they don't have a large profit margin to spend high discounts because otherwise it will take away, 50% of their profit entirely.
And there's a high
So
labor cost in that too.
there's a high labor cost, there's a high physical, there's a tangible product that has to be purchased
Right.
to give to your customers. But then you have the other businesses that, if you're a lawyer, your time is worth money, but that's the only real cost of, delivering your service.
Every type of business out there, and I'll just say this, every type of business out there should really have the option for your prospects and customers, clients, patients, whatever. You should have this option built in to be able to not let the money part of it be an issue, where the money part of it becomes a non-issue. And now you can make all of your argument, all of your presentation towards why you are the best choice, why what you do is so much different and better and superior, and why you will take care of that client in person. And the money part of it is not an issue. You can be more expensive than other people in your space. And that's a really important thing in
That's
marketing
true. That's a good
is
point. Yeah, that's a great
you
point.
don't have to be the cheapest person, and people don't buy because you're the cheapest person. And newsflash for a lot of people, if you are the cheapest, that's not necessarily a good thing for a lot of people. They don't necessarily want to have the bargain basement brain surgeon, they want to have the best that they can get and be able to afford. And what Bob's program is doing is letting that part of it, the financing, the dollars and cents part of it, become a lot less of an issue and even a non-issue, where people are able to see what you do in your business and your services and your products for your clients and patients and whatever, that what you do matters and they want it and they like it and they have an ability to be able to fit it into their budget. And that's brilliant. That is brilliant because
Yeah,
it's not something that's easily available out there
the
for
perception of
businesses. I mean,
as a business, it's, you have to realize that the perception of affordability is involved in every aspect of your
absolutely.
sale from the point of first contact through close. So, it's not a matter of making it affordable. It's making the prospect believe it's affordable for them. And it's your responsibility. And, in business, I use this word all the time, but you have to reduce the friction. There's always
I
going to
like
be
that. I like that a
every
lot.
business every business has friction, but the more you can reduce the friction, the cleaner the path is going to be to a sale.
And in reality, just simply having a program like this for your business adds value to your business. Just having it available gives you an advantage and a value add in your business. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know your numbers, but I mean, I would be shocked and amazed if you took 100 businesses with this option and without this option, and you put them side by side, everything else being the same, if the businesses with this option didn't end up having additional revenue, clients, customers, patients over a business that didn't offer it.
Yeah.
Just like, and I'm going to say it this way because my son-in-law works for Telemundo, just like if you and you live in South Florida, if your business, say, speaks Spanish, being able to say habla español changes the numbers for your business over a business that doesn't just say that, even though both businesses might have that. It's
Absolutely.
using this as a marketing tool, not just as a functional closing tool, I think is what Bob is saying here, putting it out in the front so people are aware that it's there. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct, because people, people won't always tell you why they're not buying or why they're not even
That's true.
trying to
Very
buy.
true.
Especially when it comes to money, people get
Oh, yeah.
embarrassed to say they don't have the money, and the other, it's just unfortunate that most businesses and it is most unfortunately, don't want to educate themselves and understand that you're in the psychology business. No matter what you're doing, what you're selling, there's a psychology involved in how to get people into your sales channel and how to get them through to the other side. And it's not trickery. It's not, it's not anything underhanded.
It's just recognizing how people think, how they feel about a purchase.
Right. It's just like you said, make these things available to them. Have every tool in your toolbox available to them, because you may not need them all. You may never need it, but if it's there and you utilize it as a marketing tool, it's going to bring people into your business. But even if you don't, you're going to come across someone at some time where it's going to come in handy. And like what I like to say is, and it's not a really great sales pitch, but but it works. We charge $2.99. One sale at any time, it could be 10 years from now, pays for it. So it's really a no-brainer. And it's I recommend it to businesses. It's like I said, we're not going to turn every business into a $10 million, $15, $20 million business. But if you have a $100,000 business, and there's plenty of them out there, maybe we could turn you into a $500,000 business. And it will help turn you into a $500,000 business, and that's possible. And that's really what this is all about. It's really in Michael Bloomberg's book that he wrote recently, he brought up the topic of most businesses don't know what business they're really in.
Oh boy, that's true.
And what we're in really is we're in the business. We're not in financing. We're really in the business of helping businesses facilitate sales, and that's really what it's about. It's
say that again. Say that again.
We're in the business of helping businesses facilitate sales. That's what we're about.
Yeah. Anytime you can eliminate those obstacles, those objections, to use the old 60s, 70s term, overcoming objections. Anytime you can eliminate those obstacles that people have internally to making the decision to move forward with you, right, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's a good thing. Well, Bob, I have a question I want to ask you, and we didn't discuss this beforehand, so I don't know. Do any of the options you said you have over 50, I think, financing options?
Over 50 lenders, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Do any of those options also offer a discount that allows for a no interest for a period of time?
In some industries, we do. We have some lenders that will offer 0% promotions for 90, 6 month, 12 month. Not all industries, but some industries, sure, we do. So depending on the lenders, and they come at a cost, and some businesses need it because their competition has it, and talk about a marketing. It is a really great marketing tool to be able to say 0% financing available. The truth of the matter is, most of these 0% financing promotions are set up in a way where it's not 0%, no matter what. It's 0% if you pay it off within a certain window.
Yes.
So, and the real truth of the matter is 100% of the people who sign up for 0% financing believe they're going to pay it off within that window, and about 25% of the people do. So it's, but it is what it is. Yes, but for certain industries that's absolutely needed, we do have the 0%, promotions available.
Well, yeah, we and recently in my own life, we did a thing with replacing a number of windows in our house, and the 0% was the thing that convinced my wife
Absolutely.
that this was something that we should do with the company. And what's so funny is she is so hardwired to making the payments every single month. She's still making payments every single month, which is okay too.
Yeah.
It's okay too. But
Sure.
the thing is, that became a factor in the decision-making process. And really, that's what Bob and I are talking about, is however you want to think about it. I've heard it, arrows in your quiver, or all sorts of different things over my years in marketing. But it gives you that one extra edge when you're talking with that client. And the reasons why that client may want that edge vary widely. Wouldn't you say that's right, Bob? Again, as
Absolutely.
many as there are clients.
Absolutely. And everybody needs an edge. Everybody needs some kind of an edge. And, whether your industry is competitive or whether your industry is not competitive, you're just selling against yes or no. You want to have every tool available to you. It is so important. And frankly, I think we're entering a time where it's going to be very, I came into this industry after the great financial crash, and most of us remember that. And it was tough times. I mean, housing was a mess and everything else. I don't think we're going to get there, but I see some troubling waters. I see some things happening out there that are going to make buyers more reluctant. And that's the key. It's about, getting buyers into, making people buyers. And I think there are some things out there that are going to make people, second guess their decisions to buy. And as a business, you really have to have as many tools available to circumvent those feelings as possible.
Well, I'm going to encourage everybody to check out and you made a very special Ideas Worth Knowing VIP special for companies that are interested, or individuals that are interested. And I hope that our viewers will take advantage of that. I'm going to let it run by one more time, and then we're going to have to go out the door here. But I really appreciate you being here today, Bob, and taking the time to explain some of these options to the people in our audience who either have small businesses, work in small businesses, businesses of any size, really.
Well, yeah, we do small, large, medium. We do all kinds of businesses.
And having these options available so that money does not become the deciding factor in what you're able to promote and sell to your market. Bob, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. I'm going to let it run by one more time, and then I'll cut it. All right. Take care, everybody.